All right, guys. Welcome to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. If there's a fandom, you love it, we will probably talk about it. I know we're going to talk about a lot today, but this is a special Sunday edition, guys. So, of course, with me, back from last week, Total Justice Gaming, otherwise, is Joe. Funny Italian last name. Joe, how you doing, man?
Coming to you this week from the past, present, and future, I am currently Time Mage Joe Tonello.
Oh, we're gonna get into that. Before we do get started,
guys. This is what game I'm currently playing right now.
Oh God, I was gonna say that you have to hold on that note. Before we get started, guys, I do want to sit there and say this is a family-friendly podcast. We do try to watch our language. Sometimes words do fly. And of course, there are trailers that we do show, albeit they are muted. But some scenes may be too intense for younger viewers. So with that being said, you've all been warned. So, let's go ahead and get into this, guys. We do have a lot to go through, and we're going to try to go through it. I'm going to let Joe talk about the video game that he's talking about, because now he's got me interested. So, what game are you talking about, Joe?
I'm currently playing this new game out. It's called Crispo. It's an RPG where you are playing a little girl with a sword who inadvertently becomes a time mage. And your whole world is splintered into three triangles at almost all times, where it is the past, one side is the past, the middle triangle is the present, and the future is the right triangle. And you can affect each triangle
Okay.
in the overworld. And in combat, you can do things like send enemies to the past where they're younger, weaker selves.
Okay.
Or you can, spread poison and then bring them back to the future and the poison's taken hold of them. Or you can send enemies to the future where they're old and decrepit, or you can soak a present enemy in water that's armored. Send to the future, their armor's rusted so they have weaker defense.
So someone's a Chrono Cross fan.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, why does that sound like Chrono Cross? It sounds like Chrono Cross on extreme level.
It's about a young girl, a sword, and a frog with a top hat.
So 9% of all anime?
No, Michigan J. Frog meets Time Patrol.
I was always a fan of Time Crisis, but that's another story. But with that being said, guys, I do want to go ahead. We do have some video game news aside from what Joe's playing. I wanted to point this out because I am a huge fan of this, and I am so glad that EA finally decided to make this official. I am honestly talking about the Dead Space remake. And of course, they actually showed this trailer a little bit earlier this week. For all those who are fans of Dead Space, it is, in my opinion, the top 3 games of survival horror next to Resident Evil. This game came out on the Xbox 360 almost, a decade ago. So I've been a fan of it, Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. And we've been, of course, if you're a Dead Space fan, trust me, it's like Dark Souls meets Resident Evil. For a lot of people, they didn't like the difficulty, they didn't like the weaponry or ammo or short thereof, or how to figure out how to actually kill your enemies. I loved it, and I love the story behind it. And the fact of the matter that they're coming out with a remake, I said this on my Facebook page at BlackBox447 on IG. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go with this. I'm not sure if they're going to follow the events, what happened after Dead Space 3 on the DLC, in which they came to the living planet that was basically indoctrinating people. I don't know if they're going to go back to the first one when he was aboard the Icarus and was trying to basically survive. So it's going to be interesting what they actually come up with. It'll actually have more information as it comes out. There's not a release date as of yet, because again, that was pre-alpha footage. What I mean by pre-alpha, that means it's still in development. This is just for trailer purposes, but looking at it as it is on the Frostbite engine, which next to the Crysis and Unreal, are 3 of the best engines to actually run on video game systems, for all those that are the tech heads out there. But it's probably slated to a 2022 release. It has not yet been confirmed. I'm just effing excited just because it's one of my favorite survival horror games. But Joe, have you ever played Dead Space, or did you skip it?
I remember chopping off legs and doing stomping.
You did.
I stomped things like it was Weasel stomping day from The Simpsons.
Oh, you were A-Town. That was definitely A-Town stomping. That was. The funny part was in the original 360, he was actually letting profanity fly when he was stomping, and it's kind of funny they took it out in 2. but put it back in 3, which made no sense. But all right. Hey, Bond, thanks for watching, man. I know you're about to start your podcast at 6, so, thanks for dropping by, dude. We will let them know that you will be starting your, crap. I went brain dead right now. I forgot what he called it. You know what, Vaughn? This is getting terrible. I know I'm brain dead. I apologize, but we know your show is starting Sunday, very soon. So let everybody in the comments know where they can find it. In the meantime, let me keep this rolling along. I did want to say that Battlefield is entering the open sandbox as well with Battlefield 2042. Now, this also was a trailer that actually came out on the 22nd, which was actually not too long ago. Because let's be honest, every multiplayer is going to have an open sandbox game, just to compete with Call of Duty's Call of Duty Warfare, as well as Apex Legends, as well as Fortnite. The open sandbox PvP is definitely definitely lucrative, and as you can see, Battlefield is pretty much saying you get to war however you want to, locations, people, weapons, aircraft or non-aircraft, as you can see. It basically is pretty much saying you battle the way you want to battle. And of course, with Battlefield, it is a multi-player. You could have almost close to 200, 300 players on simply one battlefield. Now, don't get me wrong, it is cool as far as what you can do to come up with. However, this is actually going to be a part of the new Battlefield game that's coming out, Battlefield 2042. Now, if you're a Battlefield person, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, because yes, they are adding some things that you may like, and then it's maybe some things that you're used to. 'Cause to me, this is the problem they run into when you get to Call of Duty Black Ops and then you try to go back to Modern Warfare. It's like you kind of set a bar so high that now it's going to be difficult to top it, and you start to run into that issue of paying for the same game every year. But that's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people that are going to love it, as they always will do. It doesn't really tickle my fancy. But again, if you're into this, you're going to love it. But unfortunately, it is going to be part of the Battlefield 2042 game. It is not, as of now, it is not going to be a separate download. You will have to get Battlefield 2042 in order to actually play it. So there you go on that. But any thoughts on Battlefield 2042, Joe, or you just figure that's just another money grab for Activision?
I do not play Pew Pew.
Pew Pew. I have never heard it put that way. I have not played Pew Pew. I'm sorry. That got me. That got me for a second. I don't play Pew Pew. Also, movie news. As we're going into it, I did want to give Joe. Have you seen Snake Eyes?
I saw G.I. Joe Resolute, which is basically Snake Eyes.
Okay, so let me give a non-spoiler then. So the non-spoiler review for Snake Eyes, let me go ahead and say this, because I actually had the pleasure of seeing that this weekend. Non-spoiler review, it did not disappoint. I said the same thing on my IG, that it was an interesting origin story as far as explaining Storm Shadow and explaining how Storm Shadow came to be and how Snake Eyes came to be. I love the direction they took with it, which was opposite of the old G.I. Joe Cobra story. So I know a lot of people were like, it was a little slow, was this, that. I'm like, well, you got to think, for the simple fact of the matter, this is an origin story. It's not going straight into the G.I. Joe story we all know and love. So there is a little bit of stepping outside the box, if you will. But the choreography was great, the fight choreography was great, and the fact of the matter, I just think it's worth watching. So I would sit there and say, without giving away any spoilers, it's definitely worth it. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, or if you know nothing about G.I. Joe, it's still a great action movie to go to. So I'm just saying. This leads
into another G.I. Joe movie, doesn't it?
Say what?
This leads into another G.I. Joe movie, doesn't it?
It does not.
I'm sure it will.
I'll tell you what, Joe. When you watch it, I want you to watch the end, because the reason why I say no is because the ending of it. So,
the ending of the after credit scene?
No. The actual end, not the credit scene. There are no credit scenes.
Okay.
There are no. The only point I can say that there are no credit scenes. I know Marvel has taught us to sit there until the screen goes white. I get that. However, in Snake Eyes, there are no end credit scenes. But to answer Joe's question, the end of Snake Eyes does not lead into another GI Joe movie. So I will say that. But I like how they set it up, though. But I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you, Joe, on that one when you see it and you tell me what you think. But for everybody else, I just say it's worth watching, in my opinion. But I know Joe wants to talk about something. I know another Netflix series that came out, and I know from just looking at the internet, there are loads of hate about it.
Okay, so I saw Space Jam 2. It was hooked with Looney Tunes. It was fine.
Yeah, Vaughn's gonna hate you for that. Vaughn, who's probably watching this right now, hates Space Jam.
It is exactly Hook, but with Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Space Jam was honestly a walking Warner Brothers innuendo joke, and I loved it.
I'll say this: LeBron James is a much better actor than Michael Jordan, and Don Cheadle pretty much carried that movie.
I'll give you one or two. Don Cheadle played a great villain. You're right. I'll give you that.
I watched the two back to back. LeBron James is the better actor of the two.
Well, you're basing a human versus a cartoon character that could have passed for what's his face from.
No, I'm comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron.
Oh, you're comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron James. Well, let's be honest. It's Mike. Mike was only good at basketball. I mean acting chops. I'm
literally the point of Space Jam 1.
I'm not gonna defend Michael's acting career because that's
I saw Army of the Dead. That was also just fine.
Yeah, but aside from that, I know you said on your Facebook post about Masters of the Universe Revelation on Netflix.
Yes, I saw that through memes because I still do not have Netflix. I will not reveal said memes to protect everything. I enjoyed it. I liked what the series really was. I can sum this up because a lot of people are review bombing it right now.
Yep.
Because it doesn't have a whole lot of He-Man. To which I say, and I posted this earlier on my Facebook, the original series was called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, implying the Masters of the Universe was the rest of the cast.
Right.
This series is called Masters of the Universe Revelations, meaning it's going to focus on the supporting cast and not He-Man.
Right.
Now, the one thing I will say I did not like about this is you get Mark Hamill to do Skeletor. And we get maybe a grand total in this series across 5 episodes, 15 minutes of Mark Hamill Skeletor, which is a shame.
Well, I mean, it's fine. I agree with you, but although it's 5 episodes for right now.
Yes, and I know this is only the first part of the thing.
Right.
I love the series. It's great for what it is. I like that we got to expand on a good chunk of everybody.
Yeah.
We also setting up a B plot, which may tie into possibly some form of She-Ra with the mechanical code.
That's what makes me think.
I think that ties into Hordak.
Yeah.
Somehow.
It had to be.
Originally, She-Ra was supposed Skeletor's forces were basically a vanguard for Hordak to invade Eternia. Yeah. Okay, I am remembering that correctly.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, there was like a snake god that also came around later in the season when they introduced like Tail Whip Rattler and something else.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying about the internet hate. It's like, well, you don't really get He-Man. Okay, first off, it was directed and written by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, in my mind, is a phenomenal writer and director. So, and like you said, the title already insinuates it, Masters of the Universe. So you already knew with He-Man and Skeletor story not being as prevalent in the 4 episodes, and again the twist, which again we're not going to say any spoilers because again this is still fresh out, but the twist at the end, you gotta love that. I'm like, it's a different story, and that's really what we asked for.
What was the other argument I heard? It's like, oh, Teela complaining and leaving after she finds out the truth about everything and how whiny she was. Like, well, they've literally been lying to her for years.
Right.
Or however long it's been, because this happens post-series He-Man.
Right. So
they still are lying. They still have not told her the truth about everything, that Man-at-Arms is her actual father,
Mm-hmm.
and that her mother is the guardian of Grayskull. They have
And-
yet to reveal that to her.
Right. So it's like if people are, and this is why I sit there and say, you know what? I think some people are just extremely hard to please.
They have those nostalgia goggles on so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't like Kevin Smith, I can't help you on that, and you're welcome to that. You're justified in that scenario. Kevin Smith is hit and miss, but he also makes a lot of movies with very strong independent women characters to begin with anyways.
Has nobody seen Clerks?
I don't understand why this is going to be any different.
I'm like, Clerks,
Just
Mallrats,
because-
Chasing Amy, Jersey Girl. I'm like,
Dogma?
I'm like, and someone did point that out to somebody on Reddit, where it's like, well, it was written by Kevin Smith, so he's like Kevin. They're trying to push an agenda. I'm like, have you never seen any of Kevin Smith's movies? There's always a strong female lead.
Yes. And in this one, there's like multiple.
Right. So I'm not complaining. I loved it. I love the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the fact how they did the story. Like I said, not to go too much into it because, like I said, we try to make it a rule here that we don't go too much into something new and
Just
fresh.
say this is a follow-up to the original He-Man series.
Yes. So
Meaning,
right.
there's also one other thing that this means. It means if this is a follow-up to the original He-Man series, She-Ra and Hordak are already established characters in this universe.
Right. So again,
That means at any point in time in the next season, I'm sorry I keep cutting you
go
off.
ahead.
In the next season, Tilo can be like, Adam can't do this. All right, let's go get Adora because we need help.
Right. So it's gonna be, like I said, I don't understand the internet hate behind it. I know we're all gonna have differences on what we like and what we don't like, but I will never understand that. Okay, you saw the trailer, you said this was great. I watched all 5 episodes. I still say it's great. It's just the fact of the matter, like you said, some people have those nostalgia. They have those nostalgia britches on way too tight for this kind of stuff.
So one other thing I will give the internet on this
Okay.
is that this was mismarketed because it was very heavily showing nothing but He-Man and Skeletor the whole way through. If they had
Fair.
alluded a little bit more, like say, hey, this is also a,
It's fair.
if they had marketed it to what it really is, like not, give away the plot, but just say, hey, this is a story in the He-Man universe, not He-Man
You
whole
know,
time.
I'll give you that. But then again, let's be honest. When you think He-Man, of course, from a marketing standpoint, and of course with Skeletor, it's like we knew that trailer was going to show just those two battling for the most part. But
Yes.
I'll give you that. It was slightly misleading, but I mean, all in all, it's still a great show to watch. I just don't
Yes,
understand the
I
internet
mean-
hate behind it.
This is so much better than the New Adventures of He-Man, where it's He-Man and Skeletor in space in the future.
You ain't wrong though. But we're saying.
They gave Skeletor eyeballs in that series.
Yeah, that was a little bit creepy. But again, what we're saying, guys, is like, look, I mean, like, we're all going to have differences of opinions, but, we shouldn't just trash something and just call it trash because we don't like it. What you don't like, another person will like. I mean, just like I was explaining Ultraman. I explained Ultraman to somebody, they're like, well, that's just, I mean, it just looks so corny and all this. I'm like, okay, well, you don't like it. But that same person I just told that didn't like it isn't going out and trashing Ultraman. They're showing other people about Ultraman. It's like, hey, I don't like this, but you might. Give it a shot. That's what it really should be. But, we can only do so much. We can only do so much as, sharing fandoms that you may or may not like. It's still worth sharing. But speaking of fandoms, I did want to talk about the next 2 bits of movie information I do have. Dragon Ball Super, because they are now coming out with another movie. And I wish they could work on the title. That they're literally calling the next Dragon Ball Super movie Superhero. I'm not
So
sure.
my thoughts on this is Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 are coming back.
Probably so.
Okay, so here's the bet I want to establish on the show.
Okay.
We've already seen some character art, so we know Pan is now older. She's probably preschool.
Yeah.
My bet is that Trunks and Goten will still be the same age as Pan in this movie.
How?
They haven't aged at all at this point, and chronologically, by the series, Trunks should be the same age as adult Trunks.
You would think, but you're probably right.
So we can look forward to hopefully Pan being the same age and height as Trunks and Goku again.
Right, but I'm looking forward to it. I keep on saying about Dragon Ball Super, how dare they give us the Tournament of Power arc, and of course in the manga, if you're reading this, Vegeta does get another form, which is the God of Destruction form, which I love.
The other thing we have to praise is Piccolo got himself some new shoes and saved up enough money and got himself a house.
I love how they point out in the trailer. Here's Piccolo's house in the Namekian style. I was like, so Piccolo...
I showed that to one of my friends. It's like, why is this house the shape of a cat?
Oh, that was too funny. It's like in the Namekian style. This is Piccolo's house. I'm like, so after almost, let's see, how many arcs has it been in Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball Z, not 20. Well, close to 20. 21, 22. So after, let's just say 22. After 22 arcs, that Piccolo finally gets home.
Well, I mean, he doesn't need to stay at his son's house and raise his granddaughter anymore.
That's a fair point, but I'm looking forward to it. But like I said, yes, that the manga, like in order to keep with Dragon Ball Super, because they are coming out with the movie, there is no further information on whether or not anime episodes will be coming because the manga is still going on strong. This is kind of normal because with manga and anime, the anime follows the manga. So if the anime catches up to the manga, they kind of go on a brief pause to let the manga kind of go out a little bit more and then possibly come back and catch up on episodes. So this is nothing new, but I'm sorry, as a Dragon Ball Z fan, especially Dragon Ball Super, loving the Tournament of Power, loving Goku getting Ultra Instinct and Jiren and the Gods of Destruction, and now Vegeta is achieving God of Destruction. I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil that because as a Vegeta fan, it is finally time. Finally effing time. Vegeta finally got his time to shine. I'm sorry, Goku fans. Y'all had plot armor protect you for the last 22 arcs. It is Vegeta's time to shine on this one. And yes, the fact that he has God of Destruction, which at this moment, until Akira Toriyama decides to write this up better, Vegeta's God of Destruction level is stronger than Goku's Mastered Ultra Instinct, which I kind of love right now.
Well, that's to remain to be seen, but we'll get there when we get there. But the most important thing out of that chapter is that Vegeta finally admits he doesn't care about being the strongest anymore. He even mentions, like, that's a title that's as fleeting as the wind.
True, but they did the same thing.
The only thing he cares about now is just constantly improving himself, which shows tremendous character growth for that character.
But let's also be honest. He also sat there and said, I don't care anymore, and he turned Super Saiyan on the moon.
Yeah.
So Vegeta giving 0 Fs usually is the next level of breaking power. But I just love the fact now everybody's like, he has no eyebrows. He's literally a god of destruction. Do you care about the fact he has lashes?
I mean, he's got that Super Saiyan 3 brow. This is like Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 moment.
Still, I'm not complaining.
Oh, I'm not complaining. But we're also going to know this is more likely going to be called Super Saiyan Purple.
I hope to God not. They didn't say God of Destruction. It was the fact that Beerus sat there and said that he's on the same level as God of Destruction. So I'm not sure if they're going to call it Super Saiyan. I don't know if they're going to call it God of Destruction. I'm not going to sure if they're going to call it Super Saiyan God. I hope not purple. Please not purple. I mean, Super Saiyan God Blue. Okay, I get that, but purple. Just go back to Goku Black at that point. But again, like I said, with the Dragon Ball Super movie, that's going to be coming out. It's 2022, and of course, as you saw in the trailer we just showed, that eventually there will be additional information coming out. So I'm looking forward to that. The last bit of movie news I have before I get to our Zelda rumor is the fact of Jordan Peele. We all know Jordan Peele's movies, Get Out and Us. He's going to come out with a new movie that's literally and figuratively called Nope. And of course, as you can see here, we see a city, a cloud, and what looks like a string of carnival flags. So as of right now, there is next to nothing on what this movie is about. Of course, Jordan Peele at this point has had a successful run of his own movies, and of course the Twilight series that I believe he has on Paramount Plus, which if you haven't seen the Twilight series, directed by him, you really should. It's actually very good. But I just want to know, I already know off the bat for me, the fact that his next movie is called Nope. I don't know why, but it gets my attention because I don't know what it is, but just by that name, by that movie title alone, I'm just grabbed. But what about you, Joe? Are you a fan of Jordan Peele and his movies?
I mean, I like him. I have no idea this was even coming out, but
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out, but there's next to nothing in information. I mean, I literally spent the better part of Friday night trying to figure out what this. I mean, nobody has no information whatsoever about what this movie's about. So I don't know if that's just great secrecy or Jordan Peele doesn't trust anybody. One of the two. But I'm looking forward to it as more information comes along. But when you have a title that just says nope, it just grabs you. It really does. But before we get to our CW shows of the week, I did want to put out the Zelda rumor. Why? Because Joe's a fan of Zelda. I'm a fan of Zelda. And if you have a Switch like me and Joe both have, you might be very happy considering that as of right now, there is a new rumor that's around Nintendo. Keep in mind, we said rumor. We did not say this was confirmed. This is a rumor that Nintendo at one point said they were not going to release any more Zelda game for the series beyond the fact of the Skyward Sword HD, which is currently out right now. And of course, the Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons, which is already scheduled to come out in 2023. There is a rumor that the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, both games that were both on the Nintendo Wii, may be remastered in HD for the Switch. Keep in mind that it's just a rumor. It is also a rumor that if those at Nintendo do agree to move forward with doing the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, there is a chance that the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask may also be rumored for the Switch. And if this rumor turns out to be true, I will be so effing happy. The reason being because Zelda Ocarina of Time, right up there with A Link to the Past, is one of my two most favorite Zelda games. Ocarina of Time did actually bring a lot of new players, and I'll argue this to death, that if it wasn't for Ocarina of Time on the N64, there would not be as many Zelda players as there are right now. That's just being honest. Of course, everybody has their own favorites. Majora's Mask, the Four Swords, the Minish Cap, the Twilight Hourglass. I know I'm forgetting another one somewhere.
Spirit Tracks.
Thank you. I knew I was forgetting one. But technically, it is possible that all those Zelda games may come as Switch ports. And if they do, I am all here for it. But what do you think, Joe? I mean, like I said, it's still a rumor, but let's be honest. Nintendo very seldomly has rumors that don't turn out to be true.
I mean, I'd be down to be able to play Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on my Switch. I mean, Wind Waker has probably one of the better stories out of everybody. Probably the best Ganon.
I could concede to that. I mean, Wind Waker's Ganon. Okay, I could concede to that.
I mean, the best Zelda I still say is Twilight Princess, but that's just me.
Number 2 for me. Ocarina of Time number 1, Twilight Princess 2.
No, I see that.
I mean, because I love Twilight Princess because it was so different than what initially every other Zelda game has been up to that point, and I don't think it never got the respect it deserved. But it could be just me because I'm like, I mean, every time I bring up Twilight Princess to somebody, they're just like, ugh, really? I'm like, you didn't like it? No, it was too different. Well, that's what we do on different video games. We try to be different.
But Twilight Princess gives you Link being the best boy and a good boy.
Right. I mean, some people, I guess. You can't please everybody. But again, also, let me get to our CW shows of the week before we get to Joe's comic book recommendations. I'm going to let Joe take the Flash because there's going to be a certain mouse that's going to be looking at that episode and thinking legal action. But go ahead, Joe. I'll let you take that one.
Barry needs to stop August because Godspeed's a thing.
Yep.
The actual Godspeed. So he goes and gets, and I'm not too sure, season 1 Thawne.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense in this grand scheme of things of some of this fight, because if this is just bad power scaling on everything, but like everybody gets a power boost, everybody gets powers, so Iris and the kids all get like, Iris gets her speed back and gets her Mina costume.
Right.
The kids get special powers. I'm fine with Bart getting speed, lightning, shurikens.
That's still
He
funny.
seems like a Naruto kid. I'm okay with Irie getting Nora. I keep wanting to say Irie. Nora getting a lightning whip. Barry, Thawne, and Godspeed get lightning sword. And it's not even. I was kind of hoping to be like, oh well, high speed lightning, high speed like fights with swords. No, they're just standing around doing Star Wars fights. Not even the good ones. We're talking about like original trilogy Star Wars fights.
That's still funny.
And then the big odd thing is, it's like Thawne tries to stabs Godspeed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the crap? And I say the same thing as Thawne's like, that's why you brought me here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That was the one part episode I was just like, so your plan was to somehow go back, get Thawne to come back and help you fight Godspeed, knowing that Thawne wants to kill you. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
The weird thing is the power scaling on this, and this is like Dragon Ball Z BS here.
Yeah.
Godspeed is supposedly stronger and faster than Barry.
Right.
Barry is stronger and faster than Thawne because it's season 1 Thawne.
Right.
But Thawne is stronger and faster than Godspeed.
It makes no sense. And then
this is a rock, paper, scissors thing here, because even Barry just like basically does a no-look block on Thawne.
Yeah.
When he tries to like backstab him almost immediately. It's like, I'm fascinated. There's no point to this.
It isn't, and that's why I was like, and then at the end of it, it's like
the giant freeway fight was hilarious. I wanted to feel like Thomas the Tank Engine or wacky schmacky music, Benny Hill music while they fought.
I would have died. I would have died laughing. But it was just weird. I guess they're trying to wrap it up. I mean, it's a weird story, especially the fact of, you went into August's mind, Godspeed is there hiding, and then it's like when you bring, it's like, okay, we're gonna bring Godspeed out by giving him some of my organic speed. Then he becomes Godspeed. Then you go back and get Thawne, and then you depower Thawne to the point to where it's like Barry's showing his true speed. Well, okay, but it still doesn't. And I thought to myself, maybe that's just maybe they're trying to plug a hole in that sense.
On top of that, they probably handled their B plot the worst I've ever seen thus far.
Oh, with Ultraviolet? Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, I guess I'm everything's forgiven.
Right. Where she could mimic. I was like, wait a minute, she's not mimic.
She's not mimic. On top of that, she's been close to Barry for how long and didn't realize, oh, I have super speed for some reason.
Right.
That's weird. Oh, well, I'm a meme now. All my prejudices are gone.
Yeah, that was weird. But not as bad, but not as weird as Adventures of Superman Lois. So I was sitting there laughing about the moment between Clark and I can't think of his name to say my life
Irons.
right now. Thank you. They had that little dap moment like, hey, nice shot. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, dude. We might have solved our differences, but we still ain't cool. But I like the fact, again, Morgan Stanley, I was like, wait a minute, he went blue-eyed. His exposure to X-Kryptonite. I was like, God dang it. But I like it. I mean, I do like it.
Maybe we're going to go full goofiness in that thing. He's going to become Electric Blue Tauro.
I'll be laughing, personally, but...
more than likely, he's going to end up becoming Eradicator. I guarantee it.
More than likely because of the Eradication Squad. It's finally coming. But anyway, that's pretty much our CW shows of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and Joe take it for our comic recommendations. I just need to go... she was at my door for a second. So Joe, go ahead and take it away. I'll be right back, dude.
All right, so first off, if you want any of these, please go to Rick's Comic City, either in Donaldson, the Nashville area in Donaldson, Clarksville, or Fort Campbell. That is where I go to get all my comics. As you see, there is a giant stack of them. We will, of course, be shotgunning some and going more in depth with the others. Leading off tonight, we have the new Moon Knight. Moon Knight is written by Jed MacKay. Artist is Alejandro Capiso. I apologize to you guys. I am really bad with names. Coloring is Rachel Rosenberg. Lettering is VC's Corey Petit. This starts the brand new Moon Knight series. This does lead off from Moon Knight's step with Avengers. You can catch up pretty easily by reading Jason Aaron's Avengers run 333 through 337. But Moon Knight is in his Mr. Knight persona, calling himself Mr. Knight. And he is now running a midnight mission. So kind of a holy order thing at night. He is first stops a vampire body trafficking. After he defeats 2 of the vampires and frees 4 people that have been turned into vampires against their will, he spares them and just lets them live in the neighborhood because they were originally from the neighborhood. He then cut over to Moon Knight in his Mr. Knight persona talking to, I believe, his therapist. Saying it's like, hey, I'm a priest of Khonshu. I run a midnight mission that's open to anybody in the neighborhood that I look over. They are all under my protection and they all can come to me for safety. She's like, are you Jewish? To which he just goes like, well, my father was a rabbi and I was a war criminal. Contradictions are nothing new to me. They go over some other things of this night. We do get a brief origin of how Moon Knight came to be. Then we see that he is taking on some of Spider-Man's villains, Vermin. So he starts fighting Vermin. Then we see he's fighting against a D-class supervillain, I guess. 8-Ball, and he is helped out by a gentleman, Dr. Badar, which kind of looks like a older, more high-class version of Luke Cage. They arrest 8-Ball, who, just like, it's 8-Ball. One of the vampire women is actually now is Moon Knight's personal assistant. We see some other adventures of Moon Knight. He's apparently gotten hold of a chainsaw, fighting zombies. Goes around marking his neighborhood to let people know they're protecting him.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're back. But, Joe, I'm sorry to cut you off in the middle, dude. Go ahead and pick up where you left off, sir.
So we just see Moon Knight with his therapist a lot, recounting his adventures. We see him fighting a zombie horde with chainsaws, sweeping up the neighborhood, marking his territory, arm wrestling with Frankenstein, killing a supervillain because Moon Knight has no problem killing supervillains. Fighting more Vermin.
Moon Knight.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Me and Joe were talking before post podcast. I have never read Moon Knight, and after his first explanation of the first issue, I'm like, okay, I gotta go read. But go ahead. What are you gonna say, Joe?
Fighting demons with a crowbar. His assistant or possible partner, I really don't know. It's one of the vampires. Satan brings him some coffee. They chat. We get possibly introduced to the new supervillain who's in shadows. Meanwhile, the gentleman who he saved earlier is also revealed to be a follower of Khonshu and puts on a black version of the mask, stating that he needs to set Moon Knight straight because he's straight from the path of Khonshu, and that's where it ends there.
Okay.
Strong first start establishes that he's in a mythical... he's still crazy Mark. Stuff is weird. Supernatural things keep happening to him, and this looks like it'll be a fun series.
especially that conversation between him and Frank Castle, that little shot for shot.
Oh yeah. Moving on, we got Radiant Black, number 6. This gives us I'll shotgun this one. This gives us a look at Radiant Red.
Okay.
Which was revealed to be a Japanese woman. whose power is she can kinetic any she can absorb energy and make herself into a larger, more heavily armored version of herself.
Oh, so heavy armor. Nice.
Yes. So she and her husband, new either boyfriend or husband, she's in a relationship with this gentleman, and they buy a house together. And the man, they're having money trouble. She gets a radiant red armor
Okay.
and whatnot, and just kind of lives her day-to-day life until she goes to the bank because she sees some irregularities, and the bank shows her, oh, well, all your money got withdrawn, and here's the signature. She, of course, means like, where's my money, honey? And he's like,
This is not going to end well.
no, he plays the I'm sick, I need help card. You were never supposed to find out. I was supposed to be able to put the money back into the account before you ever found out.
Ooh. Yeah,
Um,
that's a not going to end well moment.
Yeah. So he just like punches the wall and totally like puts a huge fissure in the wall, and he just kind of like looking at her. Of course, again he plays the "This is my fault. I did it. I lost the house.
Oh.
I screwed up. I'm sick. Please don't give up on me." And then she goes and starts robbing banks.
Ah.
And he just pretty much kicks in the door with like a huge bags of money. And he's like, "What did you do?" She's like, "I handled it."
Not I handle it. Oh, good. That's funny. Okay.
We're still going to be shotgunning a few New Mutants. Still fantastic. This follows up from Hellfire Gala. We come across, some of her friends have come across Scout's body, Honey Badger's body. Honey Badger is confirmed to be killed.
Dang. Okay.
Some of the kids just like, well, we should probably tell the X-Men we are really out of our depth here. And then you girl, or no girl, which is a mutant that is purely a spectral being.
Yeah.
Which we're playing Weekend with Bernie, but with Scout's body, but with Honey Badger's body. So all the kids like, well, why don't we go to the resurrection chamber and get everybody to resurrect Gabby? It's like, well, Gabby's a clone. It's like, yeah, they'll understand.
But still.
Yeah.
Dang.
Meanwhile, Shadow King's trying to talk to Karma. Karma immediately blows him off. She has a small tiff with Rain because Rain's still pissed she can't find her kid, and no one really is teaming to help her, even though this just like Rain's over blowing things because everything just kind of all happened at once. Like she found out during the Hellfire Gala that her son's still alive, and everybody's like attending the Hellfire Gala. We see Warpath and Magic doing some superheroing real quick. Jumping back to the kids, they head off to the Resurrection Chamber. They run up to Dakin, run into Dakin because Dakin's looking for because Hellfire Gala, they found Dakin and Laura found the note. No Girl using Gabby's body just pretty much calls Dakin on all the BS he's been pulling. Like, you know, I've been trying to have some time with you. You're technically my brother, but you've been too busy trying to get into your girlfriend's pants than you have with your own sister. Maybe I died, and now you want to play the big brother. That's not how this works.
Dang. So already this is not in. So already, not only do you get called out, but now you're asked. Now you're getting questioned about your allegiances. That's messed up.
Yeah. So all this stuff happens. They kind of play a little bit fast and loose since Gabby's body can't feel pain, but still they're trying to be careful.
I am.
They go into some kid trouble, which of course, you know, it's ex-kids, they're going to. They come across Tempest, who's one of the Resurrection Protocol people, and they kind of mind control her real quick, so they will show where they keep everything, where they keep the bodies that they need to reload Gabby into, and then they come across Rain.
Hang on, not to cut you off. We got a comment.
Yeah.
Kelly, I am Rick Sanchez. Okay. Studied a burnt Burgundy Duck 5T onto Turbo Fusible Derma app. What the? Okay. Kelly, I guess you'll have to explain that one later. I don't really.
Everybody who thinks they're Rick is really a Morty. Moving on.
You know what? I've never seen Rick and Morty, but go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
That's my only analogy when everyone tries to say they're like Rick. If you think you're Rick, you're really a Morty. Moving on. They run into Rain, and then like Karma goes over to Danny. Like, we need to talk about Rain.
That's how messed up it was.
Yep, and that's where it ends. Moving on to Marauders, we're shotgunning this again. This is post Hellfire Gala. Turns out the mutants colonizing Mars has absolutely crippled one of the Chinese industries whose sole purpose was to terraform Mars over a long period of time. So there's that. So China's not too happy with the mutants.
Of course not. When are they ever happy in any arc now that I think about it? Well, no, there was one, but that was something way different. But go ahead.
Emma's sitting there chilling and thinking about some stuff. Her daughters are still on Arakko, partying it up, and then they finally come home. They come across a mutant I'm not familiar with. That's not unsurprising. There's like a blue million of them right now. Wilhelmina Kensington. I have no idea who this is. But they offer to fix, the Cuckoos offer to fix her. Meanwhile, Emma turns across Sebastian. And ultimately decide to tell Sebastian, hey, your wife or girlfriend's not dead, but here's what happens.
Dang. They're not dead, but they're not really alive either. But go ahead.
No, they just don't want to see you ever again.
That's the weirdest. It's not you, it's me moment. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it's Emma just was like, this was during the first Hellfire Gala. Lords came to me. She wanted out. She wants no part of the Hellfire community. She already has a black eye from something.
Dang.
Then, like, the whole Sentinel thing happens that we talked about. One thing where it shows that she was killed by a Sentinel, but really she wasn't. That was a thing from Emma.
So she faked her death.
Yes, Emma faked her death, and Sebastian and the Black King, the two kings and queens of the Hellfire Club just went on this massive murder spree, killing all human occupants of all the Hellfire Clubs until the walls were covered in blood.
Dang.
And then we see Emma getting Lord Chantel out of there. It's like, you can't be Lord Chantel anymore. She's like, well, who am I going to be? He's like, I have a friend. He's super sweet. Very nice. So we see that she goes to Wilson Fisk.
She goes to the Kingpin? That's interesting.
So this also maybe that his wife could pop. I'm not sure if this implies that his wife was really Lord Chantel.
It's possible to try and link the Kingpin to the Hellfire Gala. It would be possible.
Or no, she's not what's Kingpin's wife. Kingpin decides to use her in his organization because she is a teleporter.
Ah.
So Fisk is like, yeah, we'll figure something out. Thanks, Emma. You have a good eye for talent. But in this thing, Emma owes Wilson a favor.
I love those. So that's gonna come back. That's gonna come back to backfire on somebody.
She even says like, "This price was high. I eventually worked off the joint debts by using my gifts as a fixer for Kingpin of Crime, and that is all I will ever say about those days." And Sebastian's like, "This has to all be." I was like, "No, honey. She loved you until a certain point, and then she no longer loved you.
Dang.
And this is my final retribution against you for what you did to Kate. letting you know that I assisted in the love of your life escaping your grasp forever.
That is interesting.
Uh-huh.
That's almost cold blooded, really.
We're still shotgunning this. We're starting the new galactic event, Last Annihilation. Last we left, Ego the Living Planet has been possessed by Dormammu. Dormammu is releasing Mindless Ones through portals and Mindless One starships.
Come again?
Yeah. Did you not hear me, or were you just confused?
No. Repeat that last line one more time, because I heard something. I don't know if I heard it right.
Mindless One starships.
No, I heard it right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So they're attacking the Kree homeworld, and Billy and his husband Hulkling are fighting because Hulkling is now king of the Kree Empire.
Okay.
And the other Guardians are fighting on all fronts. Dormammu is just sitting there talking. He's like, "Oh, I'm Dormammu," blah, 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 blah. Make his giant entrance, sending more starships out. The various Guardians are sitting there trying their best. Drax tells a joke, and Drax is like, "I'm a superhero. Superheroes tell jokes. Was it a good joke?" And then Mantis is like, "I'm no expert on comedy, but no."
I almost want to go. Is it bad that every time I see Drax or Troy in comics, I hear Dave Bautista's voice?
No, this version of Drax is Dave Bautista Drax.
Okay.
He just looks like comic book Drax, but his mentality is Dave Bautista Drax.
Got it. I just can't get that out of my head when I hear it, but go ahead.
On Star-Lord's side, he and Nova are still in Arakko, following the whole Storm is the regent of the solar system stuff.
Uh-huh.
So they talk about their time in the Hellfire Gala. Rich asks, Star-Lord's like, "So you dated Kitty Pryde. Did you get a chance to catch up with her?" He's like, "Yeah, she goes by Kate. We're going to go to coffee on her boat. She has a boat now. She had to cancel. Something about post-gala drama. I don't want to pry anymore."
Dang.
And an alert goes off. It's like, so there's a galactic level priority. Dormammu has taken over Ego the Living Planet, and the galaxy is slowly being overrun by mindless ones.
That's not a problem.
And Gamora's in terrible danger. So he just tells that, and Star Wars looking on Spartax like, the Spartax are doing okay. They're fine.
Dang.
Rich is like, "Yeah, I'm leaving." So he's like, "You're doing the thing?" He's like, "I'm doing the thing. Human rocket time, step back, accessing total Nova Force." And just a giant spread of boom, wormhole opens, and then Nova just blasts through and tears across like what seems to be a whole armada and saves Gamora. Oh, and Rocket's there too.
I have so many questions. Where did Nova come from?
Well, he's Nova Prime, and he has access to all sort of spatial gates because he's
Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say, wait, where did Nova come out of all this?
Yeah. So he saves Gamora because he's still got the hots for Gamora. Rocket is also saved. And now they're planning strategy. Meanwhile, Teddy and Billy are having fought off the mindless ones, or talking about plans, and then Billy feels something weird happen. It's like, something happens, and feel like it's personal, and it's like, "Well, if you gotta go, we got this under control." I was like, no, you're my husband. This is our home. We got to keep the giant flaming skull planet from eating our home. They say they love each other. They kiss. Like, and Teddy's like, "No, seriously, if you got to go take care of this and it's family related, don't worry, I got this." And Billy's like, all right, I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes because he feels something wrong because Scarlet Witch has been killed.
Huh. Okay.
So he goes to see what's going on. Then he talks to Super Skrull because Super Skrull is also one of his regents. And it's like, all right, well, we're in a dangerous situation, so contact the Dreadlock penal colony. We're gonna need to get him back. Kurt, with his name is Super Skrull, is like, we need to get back Captain Glory. I have no idea who Captain Glory is. He looks like a Marvel version of the Ray.
You said Captain Moore or Morty?
Captain Glory.
Oh! No, I got a guess. I have a guess, but I'm going to wait till I read it. But go ahead.
All right, but no, that's where it ends. And then Last Annihilation picks up in Sword issue 7, Guardians of the Galaxy 17, Cable Reloaded, Last Annihilation of Wiccan and Hulkling, and Last Annihilation of Wakanda.
I'm still waiting to see what they're gonna do. It's like that made me think about the next Wakanda Forever movie, but that's gonna be interesting. Dog, get out. But
jumping over to DC, we have Blue and Gold, the limited series of Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
I need as little spoilers as possible because I want to read that. I need as little spoilers as possible.
As little spoilers as possible. Booster's doing his thing. He's live tweeting his adventures. We get to see all the comments.
Okay.
He's in over his head. Ted arrives. Skeets goes and gets Ted. They fight more aliens. They do something involving the Justice League. The Justice League asks Ted to join. Ted says, well, Booster's got to join too. It's like, no, we really just want you for reasons. And then Ted lies to Booster, like, they didn't offer us anything. Like, Ted's like, and Booster's like, are you really okay with that? And Booster's like, bros before Rose. So I guess bros before heroes.
Yeah.
No, they try to find a shtick because they got to walk for reasons. And they walk off into the sunset of New York trying to figure out what to do next.
I just can't wait to read that.
Their new villain, Omnizon, is planning on hitting Earth, and she's going to be invading New York.
I can't wait to read that, just because I'm looking so forward to it.
And it's Dan Jurgens, and Dan Jurgens is the one that created Booster Gold, so his Booster Gold writing is on point.
Let's go. I'm sorry. It's just two things that I'm looking forward to. That, and I know eventually Nathan Fillion is going to be doing the role of Booster Gold. I know it's going to happen, and I am looking so freaking forward to it.
Next up, we got Nightwing. So we get on how Nightwing has a half-sister.
Yeah.
First, Nightwing has to put his mask on and rip the all clear because everyone thought he was captured in danger. The Titans and Batman were hauling butt to his last known location to come and rescue him. So they were ready to mess some people up for Nightwing. So Barbara's like, no, he's fine. And everybody's like, yeah, sure. It's like, yeah, we're good. We're good. Everybody stand down. So we see the Titans and the Batjet just U-turn.
Dang. That's bad.
So we have his sister meet his half-sister walk up, and he is introduced to her mother, and we get the backstory of why there's thing. She ran away from Tony Zuko and joined the circus. This was prior to the Graysons being a couple. They were still just a partner act as opposed to an actual married couple.
Mm-hmm.
So the long and short of it is Dick's dad got together with her mom prior to getting together with Dick's mom.
So they are really taking the Grayson name and running with it. Grace,
yeah.
the eternal playboy.
Even she means like it was a very big fling, and in the grand scheme of things, it was brief, but in the long run, he chose your mom, and I'm more than okay with it.
Okay.
Tony Zuko eventually did find me. I escaped him again eventually. Zuko knew your sister was not his daughter. I did eventually try to take you to meet uh, take her to meet your dad at one point, but by that time she was married and already had you, so we didn't want to interrupt that. And then
Damn.
eventually the whole Zuko killed your parents. Um, but I mean, the mom's really sweet. It's like, I do want to ask, how are you? Have you had a good life? Are you loved? He's like, I have been. I am. She's like, that's good. Please know you can always have a mother in me. You can always come to me. And he's like, I really appreciate it, Miss Lynn. Then we see the corrupt version of the police force has come to collect Nightwing and is led by Blockbuster.
Okay.
And that issue.
All right. Well, do you got one more? Because we kind of need.
We got like two more, but they string together because it's Flash.
Okay, go for it.
So we pick up with the Flash annual. This ends the Wally West time hopping saga. It opens with a Tom King 9-panel thing where he's talking to the camera, and then we see in the final thing he's just sitting on the toilet talking because one of his kids like, Dad, are you done? I really got to go to the bathroom.
Dang. We've all had those moments.
We see his final jump has taken him to the Heroes in Crisis moment. All this does really is absolve Wally of the Heroes of Crisis killings.
Mm-hmm.
He finds Roy still alive. They sit and chat for a while. And then we learn what actually caused Heroes in Crisis. It was not Wally. Wally did freak out and some lightning shot out. But what killed everybody was Savitar.
Okay, I can see that.
Who we have not seen since Barry Allen briefly became the Black Flash in Jeff Johns' Flash Rebirth, which supposedly was supposed to kill Savitar completely. Savitar's like, no, I just was trapped somewhere. We don't know where. So, giant fight ensues, and Wally's like, we gotta let this thing happen. We gotta let it play out. Otherwise, Savitar's gonna get all the Speed Force, and we can't let him do it.
Right.
So, got his name for the moment. Roy's like, no, dude, let it happen. It's cool. I understand. So the whole thing happens. The Hero in Crisis thing happens. All the superheroes have... Are you getting messages or something?
Yeah, I'm getting the comments, which apparently I actually know why we're getting comments now.
Okay.
I was
Cool.
I was getting comments about the Rick Sanchez, and it wasn't who I thought it was.
Okay.
So I had to tell Kelly, I'm like, okay, it wasn't her, and I did not think it picked up that well. She was letting me know who it was, and I'm like, Chad, you are not Rick Sanchez. You see one episode of Rick and Morty, and you think you're Rick, but no, you're not Chad. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, so the whole thing happens. Ollie's understandably upset because he wants to prevent Roy from dying. Meanwhile, in present time, everything's going on. The Justice League, Superman and Batman are called in. Wally reappears fighting Savitar. Savitar makes quick work of everybody else. No pun intended, because this is a Flash comic. Wally gets his classic Flash uniform again. And gets hit by a Speed Force and gets pretty much like a turbocharge. Meaning he is, once again, the fastest man alive. And then it's disrespectful for what he does to Savitar.
Is it like John Walker versus Nodora Milaje disrespectful or worse?
I'm going to give you a 3-second head start and then show you just what it means to be the fastest man alive. And we literally see Wally count as Savitar runs away.
Dang. Okay.
It's like 3, 2, 1. Ready or not, and he's sitting there looking at his nails in the costume, so you know he can't see the nails. It's like, ready or not, here I come, and then he just hands him his butt.
So the disrespectful level. Okay, that was disrespectful.
They are calling back to something that they did in the Mark Waid series. Is Wally can also steal people's speed, so he immediately steals all of Savitar's speed.
Dang, that. I mean, well, he had it coming, but yeah.
And then a boom tube opens up, and Savitar is sent back. And then, like, this is, like, after a very good nap later. So they talk some stuff. Wally does look, it's like, so I pushed my body too far. I hope Linda wasn't worried.
Oh, where Linda was on...
Barry's just silent for a moment. Was like, you didn't tell Linda, and Barry's like, no, we figured you could surprise her. Let me guess. She called looking for me, and you were too scared to talk to her. Mr. Terrific, like, walks by. That's affirmative.
It's like, no, we're not going to tell her you're alive. Go surprise her. Just you.
There's some reconciling between Wally and Ollie, because Ollie did originally blame Wally for the death of Roy.
Mm-hmm.
Now that that's resolved, everything's through. And we resolved that. Wally West is now officially the Flash again, and he's back in his classic costume.
Nice. Okay.
Even with the shielded eyes. So now we jump over to Flash 772, which follows up on that. We learn Jai and Irie are playing. Irie is impersonating, of all things, Zoom, chasing her brother around.
Okay.
Which is really creepy if you know that thing. Meanwhile, Linda is making Wally a day job again, because she's like, we have 2 children. They eat like a horse. You eat like several packs of horses. And I am a news reporter and only can provide so much.
Dang.
It's like, can you just ask one of these several billionaires you know for a loan?
Oh, petty. That is uber petty.
Meanwhile, he's like, no, we can't do that. It feels weird. It's like, weird. What's weird about guys pulling down huge paychecks while you risk your life on a daily basis? Like, that's not why we do it. And it's like, well, that's easy for the billionaires to say, but not Wally. We're not billionaires. We're not thousandaires. We're not even thousandaires. Like, I get it. I'll get a job.
But in reality, you know Bruce Wayne, so it's not like you can't, I see the point being made there.
So, meanwhile, the kids are still playing, and Jai trips and just nails Wally full on in the crotch with his whole body. Dang. And Wally's like, one moment. Meanwhile, Linda is laughing her butt off.
Of course.
Meanwhile, the kid's like, yeah, we're out of here. Meanwhile, we catch up with Heatwave, and looks like he has cancer. So, Heatwave responds appropriately by setting the entire cancer clinic on fire.
Yep, that's about right.
Meanwhile, Wally's doing rounds, and he goes and asks, like, literally, how many coffee shops does this city need? So he goes and tries to get a job, but this does all happen in continuity. So it's like, well, I do have experience. I am a certified auto mechanic. I did work at Central City Police's auto mechanic. Of computers, I know how to turn them on. I'm here through the mechanic position. What does that have to do with computers?
Right.
Why is there a gap in my resume? There's a good question. I have a plausible answer for it. Give me a moment. Then he goes to his next job. I know that the resume is wrinkled. I'm sorry. I don't know about computers. I know there's a gap in my employment because I was out of the country on a mission. Then the one person, he's like, religious thing? And was like, sure, why not? So we see that he got the job, and he's working as an oil change mechanic.
Nice.
He works for Speedy Lube, and then Mr. Terrific comes in. It's like, Wally, you're fired.
That was fast.
It's like, why am I fired? It's like, Well, I'm giving you a better job because I own Speedy Lube, Speedy Mart, and SuperspeedDating.com for Central City. I try to stay on brand. It's a speedster thing. And he's like, but you're not a speedster. It's like, no, the branding is for the city, not for me.
Dang.
It's like, all right, well, what's my job? Meanwhile, in the universe, we see a blade coursing through the multiverse for no reason. I have no idea what's going on there. We'll probably find out eventually. So Wally is now working at Mr. Terrific's home office. He is to be a mechanical engineer. He corrects one of his scientists on a calculation real briefly. And Wally's like, well, what if I got to go do superhero stuff? And Mr. Trevor's like, well, that's the good thing about working for me. Anytime they need you, you just say, oh, I got to go do a project for Mr. Holt, and everything will be fine. I'll cover for you. So
Okay,
Wally,
so it's kind of a day-to-day kind of thing on this episode. Oh,
and
this
Wally, to his
episode.
form, he doesn't really want to take money from one of his friends. Like he said earlier, I don't feel really great about this. Mr. Trevor's like, at least see your first paycheck. I'll pay you in advance because I know Linda's probably on you. And I'm guessing there's a lot of zeros because all he really said is this will keep you in sneakers for a few years, Wally.
Hey. Well, I gotta stop you right there. So just to wrap it up on that, what was that issue of the Flash again? So I may have missed that. So what was that issue?
772. It takes place immediately after the Flash annual.
Okay, because I kind of had to stop you right there just because.
I know we're on a time frame.
Yeah, because of a certain time frame that I will not say, because ears. Anyway, so that's really gonna do it for this podcast, guys. I do want to sit there and say, above all else, Joe, where can they find you? Anything you got going on, or things we'll let people know about?
You can find me on Twitter at Joe10LO, which just pulls up my Twitter name of Joe Italian last name. Total Justice Gaming. If I ever get off my butt and make a new video.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, really busy these days, and I'm really happy for it. Other than that, you can find me here. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me at Cosplay Collective. I will be over at the Adventure Science Center in costume this Saturday. You come say hi.
Oh, what's going on at the Adventure Science Center, real quick?
I have engineered a meet and greet, or as I called it, a meet and groot at the Adventure Science Center from 11 to 4. So me and the Cosplay Collective group will be there in costume.
Okay.
So I am doing fun superhero science stuff.
Okay, for all those, and also not to cut Joe off, for all those in Nashville that has the Adventure Science Center here in Nashville, pretty much it is located. I forgot the exact address. If you know where the Greer Stadium is, the old Nashville Sound Stadium, it's literally on the same road. You cannot miss it. What'd you say, Joe? What time and day was that again?
Saturday from 11 to 4. I will be there as Baron Zemo. We're allowing anti-heroes.
You're gonna bring the Thunderbolts. I already see that coming.
I'm going to try and recruit as many children as I can.
Okay, and let me also do a quick shout out to Vaughn, who will be coming live very soon. Big BZA Dot on all socials. Vaughn Weatherspoon on Facebook. We're doing a Smoking Trailer Sundays, which is a show about movie trailers and videos. Video games he finds important from 6:30 to 9. He also has the RAF, which is like America's Funniest Home Videos, every Tuesday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. So definitely check him out very soon, as he will be going live in the next few minutes. The Vaughn Weatherspoon on Facebook, BigBZA on all socials. As for yours truly, the link at the bottom, you copy paste that into your browser, will take you to my link tree for all of my Facebook groups, Facebook and YouTube groups for all my podcasts. Get Bit, How the Frack We Got Here, and Off Limits Podcast. My IG, which is actually in the top left-hand corner, IG at BlackBox447 to follow me. I'll also get Total Justice Gaming up there, which is Joe's IG handle. Always to follow us, because we do like posting things that we're not able to get to here on Get Bit, but you'll be able to see on our Facebook. So definitely like and follow, share, and subscribe all our stuff. And aside from that, guys, we will be back at our regular time on Fridays at 8:30 to 9. So definitely check us out then. If you have things that you want us to look into, comic books that you rather, may not have time to look into, but ask us or Joe look into, or video games, things of that nature, please feel to reach out to us at Get Bit Podcast on Facebook, on YouTube, and let us know what you think. And aside from that, we'll go from there. As far as that, guys, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll get through this. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching this on the playback, please comment if it's live. We want to know you guys' opinions. And sorry for the inbound delay. I'll have to fix that. It's my equipment. But I'll upgrade it shortly. Aside from that, guys, have a great weekend. For myself and for Joe, this has been the Get Bit Podcast. You guys have a good night. We are out. Peace.
Breathe.